Thank you. So, hi everyone in the room and online. My name is Weilin Li, and today I'm going to present this paper on the pairing bias. So first about me. So I'm a PhD student in UCL, and I mainly work on DeFi, economic design, and smart contract security things. I also do a bit like bug bounty searching and like IME research thing. So the paper title might be a bit hard to understand, but let's begin with a very concrete example. So one day when I woke up, I find out like my coin suddenly had an increase like 40%. And this one I bought it like years ago. And when I checked it, I saw, okay, there's no trading volume on this token. Like no one is trading, but the price goes up by like 40%. And I was like, oh, what happened? So initially I thought, okay, today like Bitcoin is rising, Ethereum is rising, everything is rising, so my coin is also rising. But later I find out, okay, so no one trading, so that means no demand increase on this token. But why is it still pumping? Then I look into it. So later I find out like this coin is actually paired with another token that also like increase. So here I use the example of XRP. So the main AM pool or the like cloud pool is between coin and XRP. So if we want to calculate the price of the coin against USD, it is a multiplier of like coin dash XRP and then XRP dash USD. So when the latter increases, the price of coin against USD will increase. So this explains. So while the pool is like there's no trading at all, the price of the coin against USD can still increase. So that's what like I observe when I like, check my portfolio, and then I want to like formalize this thing. So what happened? So how do we formally explain this kind of pairing thing? So that's here we like comparing with these traditional assets, like you buy a stock, you just directly buy it with like your US dollar or your like GBP or something. So you can buy metals, stocks, bonds just in a centralized liquid like limit order book. So compared with this on like AMMs, especially like these DeFi markets, you can pair any two tokens. You can just pick two random tokens and form a Uniswap pool, AMM pool, whatever. So this creates a market topology difference between like traditional assets and these like AMM pool markets. That this price is actually derived from the routing path instead of just okay the limit orders posted on the book. So that's the main difference or the key insight here, that price is path dependent. And with this, we define this like when we try to apply standard metrics that we used to have on bonds, on metals, when we try to apply these like market caps or other economic metrics on these graph structured markets, this will trigger two kind of distortions, like two kind of systematic failures. First one is this volatility transformation, which I explained in the like very beginning short story. Like my coin, it is increasing by no reason. Another one is like observed in the Terra Luna crisis, which I mean you might have seen it, and so which caused the I think 2022 like crypto crash, like everything just drops because this unbacked collateral. So here on these graph structured markets, the reported value, like the market cap, can exceed the actually exit capacity by a lot much. So for the first thing, we like here are some data we fetched from 4 different like EVM chains that we can see by TVL on Ethereum, Binance, and Base. Like most of the asset issuers, they try to pair the token with native coins, that is like Ethereum or Binance, instead of stable coins. So that's a thing that we observe from like these. So this is a like a strategic choice by these asset issuers. And what's the reason behind it is that when market goes up, like Ethereum goes up, then their token also goes up by no increasing demand for their own token. So that's where they actually take a free ride on the this floating pass token.
I like the term free ride.
Yeah. I mean, you just no volume, right? No increased like economic demand. And here, so I give an example about increase, and here I give another one like a decrease. So there's a market crash where Ethereum dropped by like also 40% maybe, and we can see here on the graph that the blue line is an asset called Sushi. It's just like fork of Uniswap. So it followed Ethereum to drop also by like 40%. However, if you look at the red line, that is the local exchange between Sushi and Ethereum. So it is almost flat with a little bit downside. And it's definitely not like 40% that much. So, and if you also look at the trading volume, there's not really much trading volume. You can see some very high tradings on the other days, but not today. Still, we can observe like what we observe, we as like retail users or traders observe is that, oh, Sushi drops by 40%. And that is completely caused by this price transmission. So, I mean, in the previous example, that's a free rider. And here it's like a free ride D. It's read by Ethereum. So the price just increased together. Another thing is that so we can see from the previous table here that there are also some assets that pay with USD, like USDC or USDT or other stable coins. So we want to know whether so if we pair it with Ethereum or some other volatile tokens, is it really more volatile? Like we want to validate our theory. So here we show in the red is the tokens that paired with a volatile token. And in the blue is the token paired with USD. And we calculate their correlation with these like top tokens like Bitcoin with Ethereum. And we can observe that by like maybe 0.2 or to 0.3, that the mean correlation is higher than these USD pegged coins. So that tells us that, okay, if you pair with a volatile token, your asset is indeed more like fluctuating. Even though there's no one trading, you still see like just like the e-trans paper, like it's bumping. The candle lines are bumping. So that's what we observe here. And for the second failure is that when you have a very DeFi, there's a term called DeFi like DeFi level. So where legal or Lego, so where you build the DeFi components as blocks, like one layer top on another layer, and in such cases, while there may be reported like 10 billion, 100 billion USD value, but when there's really like people want to exit the system, the exit capacity is restricted by the bottleneck. So here we have the example of the Luna crisis, and this green line means the exit capacity, and the red line means the nominal value. And you can see, so here I use log for the y-axis, so that's like 1 versus 10. So it's like only 10% of the money can be exited during a crisis, and that's where this liquidity bottleneck also limits the people, the users, from exiting from a graph-based market. So we just give some 2 examples, and to formalize this, we just build a graph. So here are some like mathematical notations, which I want to say that we built a graph where the edges, they're exchange like AMMs or clubs, whatever trading mechanisms you have, and the vertices, they're the assets. Like you have Bitcoins, you have Ethereum, you have XRP, all these tokens. And this trading, it must be counted, because the more you trade, the price will become worse. So that's one of the assumptions, because if the otherwise, then you can always get more money. It's just free money. So this is very crucial for our later analysis. And when you check like CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap, it will only report one nominal value. Here, the standard metrics, that is the market cap. So it's just like token supply. How many tokens are there? Multiplied by the price of the token against USD. So this like only one number shown, but it does not show, okay, is it routed through Ethereum or Bitcoin or USD? And what is the exit capacity of this token? These attributes of an asset is not shown. And they are crucial for like traders. Like when you want to buy it, you must want to know, okay, if I buy it, later can I really exit? That's your question. So it's because maybe you buy it and you see your nominal value is increasing. You see, oh, you earn a lot of money, but at last you cannot exit. It's just locked in the system, and that's what like the Luna case actually showed to the users. So this, like when we use this market cap as a metric, it has three hidden assumptions. First, what I said is it just use one value to replace all the routings and all the liquidity bottlenecks. The second is that it has a liquidity independence. Let's think of such a case. So Ethereum has a 100 trillion market cap. Wrapped staked Ethereum has a 10 trillion market cap. But when you combine them, is it really 110 trillion? No, because when you exit from wrapped staked Ethereum, you need to go through Ethereum. You just unstake and you sell the Ethereum. So that's where the problem happens. So the liquidity is actually bottlenecked by the Ethereum to USD, not by wrapped Ethereum to Ethereum. And lastly, that's in the Luna case. So the asset issuers, Luna, they just issue a very, very deep liquidity between their governance token, Luna, and their so-called stablecoin, UST. And this very, very deep liquidity you can exchange at any exchange rate, like a fixed exchange rate at any time. So that's a very deep liquidity. But when you try to exit from UST or from Luna, then there's just like 10% of the actual value can be exited. And all these three assumptions, they're false in AMM graphs. So here we have defined like three normative properties that's just, they correspond one-to-one for the three assumptions assumed by the standard metrics. And that is the liquidity bottleneck, the stable invariance, meaning you can just manipulate internal liquidity, and the risk orthogonal, where like it just outputs one number instead of the routing path. So based on these analysis, we can see the standard metrics just is not compatible with what we are trying to express, because we want a robust valuation framework for DeFi assets. We don't want a metric that can be manipulated by these asset issuers to trick you, to let you buy it, but later cannot exit. So that's what we want to design. So we come up with a solution called generalized flow valuation. So it's just based on a very, very simple idea. So like one day when all the holders, they want to exit your system, then how much value can really be realized? And when we do this valuation, because liquidity, they can increase, like market makers, they can post more limit orders, or people can like keep buying this token when the price drop. So we introduce a parameter gamma, that is the stress level. So basically we assume, okay, 5% of the people, they're selling a token, or like 1% of people, they're selling a token. So under this stress, so how much can you really extract from this whole system? That's the natural language interpretation of this GFV operator. And here there are two things that is crucial here. First is, through what is it exited? For example, in the Luna case, you need to exit through UST, the stablecoin. And in the previous case, you want to sell sushi, you need to go through Ethereum. And here, that refers to the bottleneck. The bottleneck will restrict how much you can extract, you can exit. And last is we want to just like the very first presentation on the XRP routing, we want to find out like the best feasible routing. We don't want to sell everything on a single pool and then exit. That is not a robust valuation, because the pool can be like arbitrary. So the output will be like topology aware because it knows the structure of the markets, and the slippage adjusted because it really executes the swaps. So that will be the realizable execute value. So here is it's a bit messy, but here like we want to liquidate or we want to realize these two assets, asset A and asset B. We wrote them through a lot of tokens, like we have a lot of pairs because this you can see the blue and orange arrows. But finally, most of them like are routed through this asset C. So that's a Luna case. And the C to USD, this bridge is very narrow. And when there's like everyone wants to exit, then the price will decrease very much, and like most people will just get wrecked. So this is the formal definition. I just want to show that this is because we defined the market as concave. So here, when we do this maximization, it is actually a convex optimization problem that can be solved like in polynomial time. So it's not just a solution, like NP hard solution in my fantasy. Is that it is solvable, and it is so in our empirical evaluation, we did solve it like within seconds. So here are some like empirical results. We actually compared the standard metrics like the market cap shown by Jico, for example, with the number we calculated from our GFB solution. And we can see there are three tiers. When we go to from tier 1 to tier 2, here the tier 2 means like you sell the tokens one by one. You do not restrict the liquidity bottleneck. You just want to see, okay, how much slippage is there? And as we can see on Ethereum, so just by selling the tokens, you will lose like 25%. That's like a quarter. And from tier 2 to tier 3, we actually try to sell all these tokens simultaneously. Like every token inside this system is exiting. So this minus 18.9% represents the liquidity bottleneck on the Ethereum network. And we can see that on Ethereum, this liquidity are very thick, and even at 5% stress, there's only a 95% slippage and a 10% liquidity bottleneck. But on like chains like Polygon and Base, so it drops like 98% versus 26%, which is much higher, like 2 times higher than Ethereum. And with this GFV, we also define 2 metrics. These metrics are just derived from like just dividing the GFV and market cap. So with these indicators or like prognosis metrics, we can foresee, we can like if by a month or 2 months earlier see the Luna crash. So we can predict it and avoid it by like exiting earlier than anyone else. So here we can see a plot. And the orange line is for one of the metrics called ELR, and it actually so we can see this table. Actually, our algorithm has detected this crisis by 17 lines earlier and 12 days earlier than the crash, so that people can exit earlier and just do not get them. So lastly, the conclusion is that we find out. So in these graph structure markets, if you really apply the standard metrics, you will face a double counting problem that is caused by both liquidity bottleneck and this price volatility transmission. And we do provide a solution for this robust valuation framework on graph structure markets, and we empirically validated our results and our solution. That's it. Thank you.